Good evening. A question tonight from Jen, one of my students, and she says, Mr. Brown, can you demonstrate how to solve this problem? How old am I if 400 reduced by 2 times my age is 244? So I've gone ahead and written up the problem here on my sideboard. Let's go ahead and go over to the sideboard and take a look at the problem. And so what I want to do is I want to first off look at it and say, right, how old am I if 400 reduced by twice my age, 2 times my age, is equal to 244. So the first step I'm going to do, I'm going to number these steps and put some space in between them, is I'm going to recognize that 2 times a is really a single quantity. So I'm going to rewrite this as 400 minus 2a equals 244, right? And then, as with all math problems, or most math problems at least in pre-algebra, what I'm going to do is to realize that I'm trying to get the letters on one side and the numbers on the other. And normally, when you look at the problem, you try to figure out which one's going to make it the most manageable. In this case, I could easily subtract 400 from both sides, but the problem is then I've got two negative numbers, and that really intimidates a lot of students. So instead, what I want to do is I'm going to say, well, let's start out by adding 2a to both sides. And why are we doing that? Because the opposite of subtraction is addition. And remember that whatever we do to one side of the problem, we have to do to the other. And I realize that we could combine steps here, but I'm going to go ahead and just do one step at a time and say now that we know that 400 comes down. Minus 2a plus 2a cancels out. Our equal sign comes down. 244 comes down. And plus 2a comes down. Well, I'm getting closer to what I want, and that is that I have now letters on one side, but unfortunately I have numbers on both sides. So I've got to get this 244 over to the left-hand side. The opposite of positive 244 is minus 244. And like we said before, whatever we do to one side, we must do to the other. We're going to simplify. 400 minus 244 is 156. We'll bring down our equal sign. 244 minus 244 cancels out, and we're left with 2a. Well, I'm much closer now because I do have all the letters on one side and all the numbers on the other. So what is 2a? Well, remember, we know that it means 2 times a, and the opposite of multiplication is division. So if I want to get a by itself, I'm going to divide by 2. And whatever I do to one side, I'm going to do to the other side. 156 divided by 2 is 78 equals 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times a is simply a. So in the end, we're left with a equals 78. Jen, I hope this helps. And my name is Mr. Brown. If you're trying to solve problems like this and you need some help, I'd love to be your tutor. Have a good evening. If you have extra questions, feel free to post them below. If this answer was helpful to you, give me a thumbs up. Thanks.